Stay with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are saying this morning. First, we have a peek through with the Nation newspaper taking the lead. Confusion rocks Atiku's fuel subsidy return campaign. Ex-VP changes position 3 times in 1 week. Media raids make contradictory statements. Next is the Observer Times. Atiku subsidy return would be temporary, tied to crude production. Aid explains new model. Subsidize crude to refiners, not pump prices. Proposal shifts subsidy from consumption to production with built-in phase-out. Next is the Leadership newspaper. Niger abductees. Defense headquarters says Tinubu's rescue order being fully implemented. Perpetrators of Niger attack won't go scot-free, President vows. The Daily Independent. Tinubu orders rescue of Niger mass abduction victims, urges prayer against insecurity, other national afflictions, directs urgent repairs of Benin-Agbo-Asaba Road amid gridlock. And this Nigerian newspaper says, how foreign terror funds flow into Nigeria. NFIU exposes crowdfunding, coded transactions, proxy accounts as conduit. The Platform Times says, Disu declares war on jungle justice, orders homicide probe into every mob attack. And the Guardian newspaper says, federal government hastens police reform to douse self-help plots in communities. The Blueprint newspaper reports that U.S. hails demand for Nigerian oil in international markets. Dangote refinery raised petroleum exports 7 times. Nigeria ships 561,000 barrels per day in second quarter of 2026. The Nigerian News Direct says petrol imports rise by 9% as Nigeria's consumption falls in July. The Punch newspaper, 19 oil block licenses to expire this year, 12 PPLs, 7 OPLs affected as tenure dates near. Nigerian Tribune, 2027, Atiku to boycott debate unless Tinubu joins. That's according to the ADC. Challenges presidency to debate on petrol subsidy removal. The Daily Trust newspaper, Rada, Masari rift splits Kasina APC. The Hope newspaper, police bust baby factory in Ogun community, rescue 2 pregnant women, 4 children, arrest 6 suspects. And last but not least is the Sport Alive. Mixed fortunes for Nigerians in Carabao Cup. Awoni scores, makes assists for Coventry, and then Aina beaten with Forest 2-0. Okay, let's get down to brass tack by doing this with my colleagues, Toma, Ria, and Olamide.
Let's get the ball rolling.
Toma, let me start with you.
Okay.
They say, looking at the Nation newspaper, they said there is seed of confusion sowed into the camp of former Vice President Atiku's ADC party, where Atiku saying that before 2023 or up until 2023 election, they were saying subsidy had to go. Now we are approaching 2027 election, and then he's saying that subsidy has to be restored. And the backlash came very, very fiercely, even from Omoyele Sowore, who was saying that, how can you, no, Omoyele, Peter Obi, saying that subsidy has gone. It's just the management of the proceeds of subsidy, the subsidy removal that we've not been able to, well manage. So Atiku is now saying, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we will be subsidizing, it will be temporary, and then we'll be subsidizing crude to refiners, not pump prices. But people are just saying, come on, are you telling us that we should restore corruption, not payment of salaries, as we are having now, 27 states are now paying their salaries as and when due.
First things first, the optics that his media aides were not certain what Atiku actually was talking about when he talked about restoring the subsidy. The optics is really bad. It's really bad that something like that has to happen. However, I think what is going on now is damage control. No, I didn't say this. No, I said this. No, this is actually what I said. We're going to subsidize crude for refiners and so on and so forth. Well, he is asking for presidential debate. Maybe at the presidential debate, he will make things clearer, because right now, I really don't know what the guy is saying. I really don't know what he's saying.
Interesting. Talking about Atiku's vote fast, that's sharp U-turn. Saying that subsidy was a fraud, and then I want to say vice president, FCT minister Ian Wike, called it voodoo economics. Remember when he said that, and the presidency is also saying that that's complete ignorance, serious ignorance on the part of former vice president Atiku Abubakar to say we want to restore subsidy.
Before I end my submission, I'm going to ask Atiku a very important question, and I'm hoping that he will actually give us an answer. But I want to speak about the fact that if you remember in 2023, he was the one speaking about fuel subsidy. Now he's come to say something different again. I want politicians to understand that people don't forget. When you say something, it lingers on. It's not like you can say something in 2023 and it has cleared and erased out of our memories. I also believe that the confusion that happened with his people trying to pass a message also sends a bad signal. Like, what are you really saying? What are your ideologies? What do you actually really mean? So for me, that alone just shows a lot of commotion even happening, within them. And I said it earlier on. I said it's almost campaign period. They will sell the best bread for you. The most important thing is that how are you going to work with what you're saying that you will do? And this is my question that I have. It's a short question, Ibrahim, and I hope that Atiku can give us the answer to this particular question. Now, he has an obligation to explain the numbers. If you are proposing targeted subsidy, who qualifies? How much will it cost? How will it be funded? And how do you prevent corruption associated with this previous regime? So I was thinking that if Atiku had proposed something, you tell us how you will do it. Not that you will say something and you are not telling us how you do about it. We are wiser now. We are smarter now. We know that during campaign times, everybody will come and sell anything. But then again, you can't be criticizing a government when, at the end of the day, if you are given the mandate, what will you do? And that's why we say, opposition, I do not understand what their ideologies is, because it just seems like, oh, it's my long-term goal to be president, or I want to remove incumbents. But when you get on that stage, remember that you have Nigerians, to govern. People will look, to you.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Right. Those are questions.
I actually pray that this question will actually be answered.
Definitely. He's been explaining, he's doing an explaining.
Is not tangible enough. I need answers to this particular ones that I've raised.
Atiku, you have to
All right, then, that's a serious query that he has to answer. Right, this Nigeria is the next newspaper we're reviewing. How foreign terror funds flow into Nigeria. NFIU, that's the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, saying exposes crowdfunding, coded transaction, proxy accounts as conduit. There are these foreign-based facilitators running online fundraising operations under the guise of humanitarian relief or educational support. They make use of Telegram, they make use of WhatsApp, etc. And people of good character who are willing to help every other person, are sending money. But at the end of the day, these monies were used to fund terrorism in Nigeria.
Absolutely. That report by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, I believe it's a 2025 report we're referring to here. And it was very informative, and it intimated us a lot on what terrorism looks like in the digital world. When we look at global best practices when it comes to counterterrorism, the security experts will always tell you, let's use a follow the money model. And I really like this headline, Ibrahim, because oftentimes we're wondering, how do funds trickle down to these terrorists? How are they being funded? But this headline takes the conversation upstream. There are upward mechanisms and powers that are funding these people. And we have to apply financial intelligence when it comes to cropping out these terrorists, because you can arrest as many fighters and terrorists as you want. But so long as there is a financial lifeline and they are being funded, Ibrahim, they always have the power to regenerate. This NFIU's 2025 report actually showed that the amount of foreign crowdfunding that these terrorists are getting is alarming. They have proxy bank accounts, they have disconnected SIM cards, they have domains and secrets that they use in the digital world.
In fact, they're even using cryptocurrencies
under the tangents of the dark web to fund themselves. So it's very, very worrying. And I want to see us supply more financial and digital intelligence as complementary to our military and our kinetic response.
Basically following the money, making sure that we actually follow that money.
Let's move on to the platform times. Disu declares war on jungle justice, orders homicide probe into every mob attack. We know that any little thing, people will steal big money. They know they see their face. Yeah, of course, they know they see their face for crime fighters. Those who steal Maggi, you see their face for crime. You know that song, right?
I know African China.
African China, right? So and the IGP saying that anyone caught, mobbing anyone or serving out jungle justice or jungle madness, such person will be tried for homicide, which means deliberately killing, that victim.
Yeah, it's about time he did that, but we have to look at the other side of the coin. You know, Nigerians resort to stuff like that because they believe that if you take it to the authorities, they will do one magic or another, and the guy is on the streets the very next day. You know, so Nigerians started doing that. It is absolutely wrong for any kind of mob justice to happen. Now that Ditsu is saying, look, that he's not going to tolerate it, I believe he is put the Nigerian police in order. He's putting the Nigerian police, because putting Nigerian police in order is something that will take some years.
Absolutely.
You know, he's putting the Nigerian police in order and get Nigerians to start trusting the police in such a way that when something happens, we believe that when we take it to the police, something correct will be done.
Absolutely.
Nigerians just, they don't have a lot of faith in the Nigerian police.
And Ria, IGP Disu said forensic tools, eyewitnesses' statements, and digital video recordings will be deployed to arrest and prosecute not just the ringleaders, but every single person present and participating in a mob action, including maybe bystanders.
And even the ones that you always used to video them, those
ones
ones that
videoing them.
Of course.
to be in front.
Yeah.
I'm never shy to say that I believe in the IGP. You know, I believe that he's going to redefine the police. I've said it oftentimes. You know, I believe in the ideologies that he has. When we talk about this jungle justice thing, Olamide has brought so many stories like that on trending now that we've seen that, you know, people have just lost their lives for no reason. Ibrahim, I tell you, some of them are actually innocent. That's where it even hurts the most.
That's
somebody would take phone, take Maggie, they would mob justice the person, but somebody is out there stealing billions of naira, sitting comfortably in his house. So thief is thief. In any way, once you are a thief, you're a thief, whether you steal 10 naira or whether you steal 1 billion. So I actually believe that this is not something that we should say that, oh, let's get somebody and just kill them without taking them to, you know, the police station. But then again, what I want the IGP to work on is that when we take these people to the police station, we need to also make sure that the law follows through. Because like Thomas said, people have also lost faith that, oh, when you go there, you can just give them some goro and then, some goro, and then they let you go. So we also need to look into that system again. But I love the fact that he's, you know, saying this. A lot of innocent people have died from mob justice.
Absolutely. Blueprint newspaper is saying U.S. hails demand for Nigerian oil in international market. Dangote refinery raised petroleum exports 7 times. Nigeria ships 561,000 barrels per day in second quarter 2026. Ditto, Nigerian News Direct saying petrol imports rise by 9% as Nigeria's consumption falls in July. And the Punch newspaper saying 19 oil block, you know, after all said and done, their licenses will be expiring this year. Olamide, I'm not sure which exact story interests you, but looking at that of the U.S.
On the blueprint.
On the blueprint, yeah, the U.S. saying that the rising demand for Nigerian refined petroleum products driven primarily by the operations milestone of Dangote Petroleum Refinery.
Absolutely, it's very welcome. This is a very promising headline because what we're essentially seeing is a reversal of Nigeria's traditional position in the oil market.
That's
For the longest time, Nigeria was just an exporter of crude and unrefined crude products. Now we are now seeing us attempting or even succeeding in exporting refined petroleum products, and that puts us at a different point in the market. I want to share with you some figures. The U.S. Energy, and this from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, they say that Nigeria's seaborne petroleum product shipments average 561 barrels per day in the first quarter of 2026. And that's when we're comparing it to what we had in 2023, which was about 79,000 barrels per day. So we are seeing a big shift. But what we have to remember is that us now being able to export in the way that we are under the Dangote refinery, it does not automatically mean that Nigerians are going to be better off. The true metric and the true test is going to come when we now have cheaper domestic fuel and costs for fuel and crude products go down for us who live at home and for us who are producing and exporting the oil.
Absolutely. Toma, let me come to you with the Nigerian Tribune and Ria, the Hope newspaper. 2027, Atiku to boycott debate unless Tinubu joins.
I saw that.
That's according to the ADC.
Why don't you give me the juicy stuff?
Okay, so no. Your analysis.
He's him picking and choosing.
I'm talking oil.
No, that's not true.
I'm talking about Atiku, not you.
Okay. So your comments misread.
Yeah, that's all we're discussing.
Right. I love your input on that of the petroleum industry. Very, very insightful and well detailed. But then Nigerian Tribune 2027 Atiku to boycott debate unless Tinubu joins, and then it's challenging presidency to debate on petrol subsidy removal. It's saying that the fact that the big wig is not there I'm also a big week myself, to face this debate. I don't want to debate, the young. No, I'm saying Atiku is saying that. So I don't want to debate, the younger ones who want to debate me. Right, and he's saying that the father is not there. Talking about Nigerian Tribune, he said they claim it serves as a strategy for the ruling APC to dodge public scrutiny while letting opposition rivals tear each other apart. We saw what happened at the NBA.
Yes. It has been said in some quarters that Mr. President doesn't like public debates, and that is what Atiku is riding on. He's saying that, look, if he doesn't show up, I won't show up. Yeah, he might be a big boy. I'm a big boy too, like you said, and so on. But I would like him to see the opportunity he has to clear the air on this subsidy removal or subsidy non-removal. Using that debate as a platform to do that. Because right now, as I said earlier on, the optics are not nice.
That's right.
People are seeing confusion in his camp. People are seeing a media department that is not cohesive, and he needs to take that opportunity to clear the air and get people to understand what he's talking about.
Olamide, you're itching to say something because Atiku is saying, if I'm not going to...
But I just want to say, like Atuma said, it's political posturing at its finest. Right. And like you said, Atiku should see this as, if you do want to be a leader, you have a duty to the Nigerian people to explain, your economic position, to explain the differences that you have with the incumbent. Your duty is not to come and debate the president. Your love for the people should outshine your dislike or desire to usurp President Bola.
And maybe he will answer my question during the debate. So maybe you have to
No. He said if he is not going to do that, if that's going to happen, it will be granting media interviews, press reviews, and also town halls. That's what he said.
But he's welcome to actually come for an interview. Actually, he's very well welcome to join us for an interview.
Okay, right. Then let's move on to the Hope newspaper. Ria, police bust baby factory in Ogun community, rescue 2 pregnant women. 4 children, arrest 6 suspects. Sometimes whenever these things, when they bust baby factory this way, we'll think people who are into this practice would have to stop. But it's always very intriguing to see that it goes on and on.
Because there's a market, Ibrahim, and there is a demand.
What did they do there, Ria?
There was a story that I saw recently of a woman. She would kidnap pregnant women, and this is not a Nigerian movie, this is actually a true story. She will kidnap pregnant women, they give birth, and she sells the children. And this
some even go there themselves,
yes,
get paid,
but
get
this one is worse.
And they give birth.
If you go there yourself, it's even better. Imagine what it takes you out of your
better.
No, you don't know what I'm saying. You are taken out of your own will somewhere, you give birth to your child, and your child is taken away from you. This now brings the problem of the DNA thing we've been seeing. So many men are angry with their wives and all of that, not knowing that they are even swapping babies. This even happens in hospitals as well. But we ask, if there is no supply, there will not be demand. People are actually engaging in this business because it's very lucrative. I love the fact that we are now busting these people. But Ibrahim, I tell you something, the more we bust them, the more they open in different, different hidden places, the more they do that. And you ask yourselves, where is the humanity? These are children, these are babies. It is quite scary. I'm just hoping that the police will also, put in the police.
As a chime in, the people that are arrested: 58-year-old Florence Glory Obona, Magdalene Julius, 63, 40-year-old Chidike Egumono, etc., at Ilewe in Abeokuta somewhere.
Wow. Ibrahim, I just want to add that it's not even just women that have babies and they sell the baby factories. The entire part of a woman's body, it's a whole reproductive economy.
That's right.
And what do I mean by that? At the level of even just our eggs, you have young girls now who are selling their eggs for 150K a pop, Brian. You have women who are getting pregnant so they can sell the placenta. Then you now have women in this story, baby factory, who are actually getting pregnant and then selling the babies. You have women who, all sorts of things. So at every stage in a woman's pregnancy, her whole entire reproductive health is up for grabs, and it's an informal economy for these people. You will be shocked.
But what kind of poverty will hit you to start selling your eggs and start selling your placenta?
I think that's not poverty. That's greed.
I can't think it's even poverty.
Greed.
It has to be greed.
It's greed.
But there's a story that we also need to look at. They say now young people are also selling their kidneys as well. I don't know if you've seen that story.
They sell their eggs, they sell their kidneys, they sell their body parts, etc. May God save our generation.
God help us.
Right, and last but not least is the Sport and Life. NFF fact-finding committee in disarray. Members accuse chairman of running a one-man show. Vows to disown his report. Amon submits report and resigns. We'll definitely see, what's going to come out of this, in the coming days. That's about it for the newspapers up for review.
Fantastic.
Still to come. Could fake agency operating within the SGF's office have gone unnoticed for years. And what does this controversy say about oversight in government? This conversation is still on. Do join us.